When you agree to do an interview, that doesn't mean you're obligated to answer every single question. It's not rude, it's not evasive, it's strategic. But sometimes a reporter will ask the same question over and over, just phrased differently, trying to get you to say something more emotional, more revealing, or more controversial. That's what makes intriguing headlines and catchy sound bites. They're looking to get views, clicks, likes, shares, dwell time, if you know what that means. And if you're not prepared, you might end up saying something you regret, something that gets pulled out of context or completely derails your message. Today, I want to show you an example of someone who handled that kind of moment with great skill. Actress Sydney Sweeney in her interview with GQ. If you haven't seen it, the actress was doing press for her film Immaculate and for Euphoria season 3. To be fair, the conversation covered a lot of topics, and the YouTube video is actually about 19 minutes long. But the parts of the interview that made the rounds on social media focused on the viral jeans ad Sydney appeared in earlier this year. You may remember the ad sparked controversy, but it also generated significant buzz, which the company said boosted sales and attracted new customers. So naturally, GQ wanted her to respond to all of the fuss about the ad. Let's listen in.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So, were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Sydney's response is what I would call disciplined. She didn't address the controversy, but instead brought it back to the job, which was to promote jeans. And as you heard, she loves jeans. She wears jeans all the time. Her answer was simple, it was neutral, and it was really just not defensive at all. It can be difficult to remain detached if you feel like you're being questioned about other people's reactions to something that you're involved with, right? The reporter, of course, has more questions because that's her job. When someone who is considered a newsmaker is in front of you, even if that person didn't intend to be, a reporter is supposed to delve deeper with that person. A classic journalist technique is to ask once and just see what you get. Ask again, rephrasing it, and then we'll ask a third time with like emotion. They're not being mean. As I said before, they're just doing their job. But your job is to stay in control of your narrative. The reporter then asked if she wanted to comment about specific questions regarding the ad. Let's look at this.
You've come here like really willing to talk about this whole discourse that doesn't have that much to do with you, and I'm grateful for that. Is there something that you want to say about the ad itself? The Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. Do you have...
The ad spoke for itself.
You think the ad spoke for itself? Okay.
Yeah.
And the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
This is the type of situation where people could easily feel some obligation to over-explain or apologize, but Sydney does not do that. Nope. She acknowledges the topic, but she just doesn't engage. And that's key. So you're not saying no comment, but you aren't commenting on the controversy. And really, that can neutralize the situation, and then the reporter will move on, and that's what happened here. Earlier in the interview, Sydney shared her values, and that's really stood out to me, since most people who will see the interview don't actually know her, so it was an opportunity for her to share what's important to her. Okay, here's what she said. She said, I know who I am. I know what I value. I know that I'm a kind person, so I don't let other people define who I am. Now, that's a power move, because it signals that she's not going to be intimidated or let others' opinions matter to her. She defines herself. So, what can you take from this? Whether you're a founder, an executive, or a spokesperson, this is part of what I teach in my Smart Presence coaching program. You can learn more if you're interested below this video. Number one, answer once clearly. Give a complete, confident response the first time. Number two, recognize that reframe. When the same question comes back slightly reworded, that's your cue. They're circling. Number three, don't add new fuel. Consistency builds credibility. Number four, bridge back to your message. Say something like, what's really important to me is, or that's part of the bigger picture, which is. Number five, anchor in values. You don't have to keep explaining, especially if the interviewer isn't satisfied with your answers. That's their problem. You state your values and leave it at that. That's how you stay calm and credible, even under pressure. You can actually see it in Sydney's body language. She takes a breath, she keeps her expression soft, she stays centered. No eye rolls, no visible frustration. That's intentional composure. If you've ever done a tough interview, you know that adrenaline spike, right? That heart's racing, your face kind of feels tightening, your brain is spinning on like, oh, how am I going to fix this? But the truth is, you don't have to fix it. You just have to hold steady because the clip that makes the headline, it isn't just your question, it's also your reaction to the question. And that reaction is what can end up as the viral moment. If you get irritated, angry, or visibly frustrated and start to snap, you can bet that is what is going to get replayed over and over. Now, you might think, okay, but I'm not a celebrity, so it doesn't really matter. Well, whether you're CEO, a founder, a team leader, an employee, the principle is the same. You might face tough questions, could be from an investor, could be a media interview about a sensitive issue. And it's easy to think, okay, well, I agreed to be here, so I owe an answer. But you don't necessarily. You owe professionalism and clarity, not vulnerability on demand. Here are a few ways to say no gracefully. I've already answered that, and I think that's the best way to put it. I can't speak to that specifically, but what I can tell you is that's not something I can discuss. But what's important for people to know is, see what's happening there? You're redirecting, not reacting. You're leading, not defending. That's communication control. So let's recap what Sydney Sweeney modeled for us in this interview. She didn't take the bait. She stayed focused. She returned to her values and she kept her message intact. That is smart communication, or as I like to call it, smart presence in this day and age. You don't need a script. You do need to have a centered mindset when you're going into these interviews. And if you want to learn more about how to do this, how to stay confident, concise, composed, and camera ready, that's exactly what we work on in my coaching program. We combine real world media training with AI powered analysis to help you refine your message and your delivery. Click the link below to join the free training or book a strategy call with me. Remember, agreeing to an interview doesn't mean surrendering all control. You decide what gets told and how it's told. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.